Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Corporate Vice President, Management and Security Division, Brad Anderson.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm excited to be back here in Europe. I was excited to get the invitation to come and speak today. But really, on behalf of Microsoft, let me just start out by saying how grateful we are to all of you for taking the time to spend this week with us. We know it's time away from work. We know it's time away from family and friends, and we are very, very appreciative of the opportunity to be able to talk with you about some of the innovation that we've done and find ways for us to partner more deeply. How many of you like the Connect demo over here? Yeah? Let me give you a little personal anecdote. I'm a father of 3 teenage daughters, and so I'm always looking for ways to preoccupy the teenage boys when they come to visit my daughters. Boy, the Connect works great.
Infrastructure resources. I can manage my private cloud that runs on those shared resources, and I can manage my deployed services that run in my private cloud. Deploying a new service is simplified by the creation of a service template. A service template brings together all the building blocks of a service, including gold VHD images, including application-specific packages, such as SQL configuration or IIS configuration, and a virtualized installation of my actual server application, a new feature that we call Server App V. With this approach, the application is abstracted from the underlying operating system, which reduces the cost and complexity of ongoing maintenance. Creating a new service template is easy with our drag and drop designer. I'm going to create an HR job search template. This service is going to be a fully scaled out 3-tier service. All I need to do is drag and drop my app tier, my database tier, and finally my web tier into the designer. And then I can configure each tier of my service. First, the database tier is a single instance that is deployed first. My app tier is a single instance that I will deploy second. And finally, my web tier, I will deploy third. This tier, I want to be scaled out to handle increasing demands. I will configure this tier to scale up to 10 instances if needed, and start with an initial deployment of 3. Finally, I will version this as the 1.0 release of my HR job search service so that I can track version changes to my service going forward. That completes the construction of this service template. And later, you'll see how an application owner can use this template to easily deploy a new service.
So now imagine you are the administrator, you log on, whoops, wrong one, that one, wrong one. You log on up here as the administrator, and then you go run, whack whack, luigi.princess.peach.com/gameboy. So you're basically trying to gain access to that share that the Super Mario Brothers group has access to, which the administrator is in. The Kerberos dance does its usual thing. I ask my KDC, he can't help, sends me a referral. I chase the referral to the child domain. I go to the child domain, I say, give me a ticket to access the Luigi machine. And the KDC in the child domain says, certainly, sir. Oh, in addition, let me add that extra group into the ticket for you.
The good news is that SharePoint is a pretty good pocket knife. And what I mean by that is that there's a whole lot of different tools that you can deploy in order to make something more compelling, to make your insurance more compelling. And the way I sort of describe this is Microsoft has 2 types of different of product. You know, they have the platform product at one end of the spectrum, and they have the solution product at the other end of the spectrum. So to give you an example, a platform product is SQL Server. You know, you put in the SQL Server DVD, set up, next, back, next, finish, and what do you have? Not much. You might have the Northwind database. Not much you can do with the Northwind database unless you happen to be Northwind. And that's it. You have to then go and make something with SQL Server. At the other end, the solution spectrum is Exchange, where you put in the CD, and next, back, next, finish, and you've pretty much got a mail system. I mean, sure, there are more things you have to do, but it does something out of the box. It's a mail system. SharePoint was and is one of the first products that Microsoft did that felt right in the middle of that spectrum. You know, you can go next, back, next, finish, and you've got something, but it's also a fantastic platform for you to go and build other things on top of. And that's where it becomes this pocket knife. You know, your imaginations aren't limited by what the product can do out of the box, because there's all these other tools that you can deploy in order to meet the specific requirements that you have. With 2010, you just get a whole lot more tools. So it was what 2003 was, it was what 2007 was. 2010 is just that, with a whole lot of extra tools.
Aggressive.
That you can go and deploy.
Yes, you are. Well, most of them, yeah. There's no good way to say it. For men, you're considered aggressive. For women, 7 years in the Navy, so you're considered a bitch. Excuse my language. But that's what happens in the States. Men are aggressive and they're real go-getters, and it's a good thing for them to do it. But when women do it, it's, you know, what are you doing? You can't say that. But that's just me.
That's the one.
Well, I have a sort of positive experience that being a girl sometimes also opens more doors that would stay closed for boys. So sometimes.
Thank you for saying
Not always, but sometimes. When you have a good story, then they tend to listen to your story more easily than if it were guys.
I find that I've always been the one that people remembered. So there's maybe 20 people around the table who are almost identical, and 1 or 2 people who are different for whatever reason, and the other 17 or 18 are kind of a blur. So if you mess up, like Rhonda said, she's the one who said that incredibly stupid thing that day, 7 years ago. But if you shine, it's not like, who had that great idea? Was that Joe or Steve? It was that woman, you know. So that can work out.